Hi, my name's Bob Greenyer and I'm a volunteer with the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project, so I hope everyone is good tonight. We're going to be doing something a little different and I'm going to be testing a few different techniques to do live microscopy and review of things. Now I am going to be looking at this, which is the Lion 4 reactor over here. Which I've had on my desk for some time, and you may have seen it very many times when I've been describing things. Now, the original intention with this, with Lion, was that we were going to find a technique where you are able to look inside the device using special type of technology, but it isn't available in Austria. But when I reached out to them a number of times, there wasn't good feedback, and I have found that when you try and approach these organizations, that they have difficulty in running their own equipment a lot of the time, and so when they do get it working, they like to use it on their own things, and so it's a big barrier to entry. Anyway, the idea was that maybe we could see some of the ways that this was manipulated inside by whatever was going on in the active core, which definitely is this one on this side, according to the Lion author, and see if it made some channels into the alumina. But that isn't to be. And a while ago, the Lion author said that when I get an opportunity, he would be very happy for me to take the... I don't quite know what's happened there. Something's gone a little bit odd. Did that die? Can you still hear me? I don't know what happened there. Can you still hear me? Dear. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Has it gone? Has it gone? You can still hear me. So why can I not? Why am I getting some sort of weird thing going on here? Error: YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Okay. I don't quite know what's going on there. Okay, you can hear me. Yeah, it's saying there's some issue with the amount of video that it's receiving. So just give me a second. Give me a second. Because it's going to be quite important to have decent streaming here. You can hear me. Okay, stream is buffering sometimes though. Okay. Okay, give me a second. Maybe I can resolve this. Some buffering here. Okay. All right. I've not experienced this before, so what should I do? Not receiving enough video. Sorry. How does one deal with this? I'm not going to do it there, am I? Ah, the joys of live. It might be because I have a couple of cameras going through the same hub. So I should get a Netflix deal, okay. All right. I'm going to see if I kill the second camera that I have running for now, which is the one that you're actually looking at there. So I'm going to switch to a different camera that doesn't go through the same network. And this is the overhead camera here. And hopefully when I'm on this one, the thing should be smooth. That might be the case. We will find out. Let's see. Let's see if that improves it. This is always the thing when you're trying something new. Things might not go very well. Okay, video stream seems fine here in the UK. Okay, so I don't know if you can see what I'm pointing at here, but I was looking at the Lion 4 with this camera here, over here, and I'm not seeing that now, so at all. I'm not getting a feed even at my end. Yes, I am, but it's not feeding to you. Why is that? Tried to do a speed test to see if enough bandwidth. I have enough bandwidth. Yes, I have enough bandwidth, but what I've got is I have a couple of cameras running through the same hub, and I think that's put me behind, and I can see you're so far behind me that I don't know what you're seeing when I'm presenting, which is not very useful. Oh dear. Okay, I can see that's dropping down. Okay. Alright, I'm just looking at the streaming software and seeing what kilobits per second it is putting out. And so what I might do is drop that. Can I drop that midstream? This might go horribly wrong. I'm very sorry if it does. If it does, I will start a new stream. Yes, you can see your hand, but that hand happened quite some time ago, Gordon. So it's definitely not real time. Which is going to make it a little bit difficult for me. Isolate the variables or they will isolate you. Okay, alright, I'm going to... Okay. I'm going to try doing something which I don't think I should do. Okay. Guys, I think I'm going to stop this stream and start it again. So it'll be... I'm sorry, that's just not good. Bye, Dan. Sorry you can't hang around. Yeah, probably best to go and watch it later. Yeah. Okay, no more buffering on your end. Yeah, but the stream is... so far behind, so I've just put my hand out and I'm waiting for you guys to see that, and at the moment it's looking like a long gap. Okay, it's not that long back gap. Okay, give me a sec. It's telling me that my bandwidth is too high. Okay, I can lower the bandwidth and I think we should be better, so let me go to the settings, and it did allow me to change the bitrate midstream, so I'm going to do that now. It says excellent connection right now. Okay. All right. So just seeing how long the delay is. Yes, you see the hand. I'm doing it again. Okay. It's about 20-second delay. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Right. Okay. Hand appeared. Hand is visible in the US. Okay. All right. Well, you're going to be quite a bit behind me, so I'm going to have to... This is not going to be as interactive as I would liked. but that is what we're having to deal with. Okay, so all right, I can see that it is there now. Okay. So my question is, should I stop and restart this? If I do, I'm going to put another thread out. That's going to be messy. Yeah, the chat had a delay. Yeah, okay. And okay, so we've got a little bit of a difficulty, but I think the stream will be okay now. It seems it still says it's too high, the stream. What it is I'm doing 30 frames per second on this because I have several cameras in play, and it's suggesting that I put a lower stream rate because it's 30 frames a second. So let me say, it does say 4,500 and I'm 6,500. So I'll just change that again. And what I will try and do is something I've never done before, is at the end of this I will edit it for those for the actual one that goes up. Just chop off the beginning maybe. Otherwise it's 10 minutes of rubbish. More so than usual. Okay, all right. Okay, so now the stream is what it should be, the speed that YouTube is recommending for this 1080p stream. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not the resolution. It's YouTube's complaining that I'm sending it too much data, but now I'm not sending it too much data. So the hand's going to go in and out for you when you see it, and I'm here. Right. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to talk about actually was some exciting news. Well, kind of exciting news, but good news for those that are interested. Essentially, we still can't get to Japan to interview Takaaki Matsumoto. Now, I had said previously that he had gone quiet for a while, and we now know that's because he was having some medical issues. However, he's had an operation and he can live a very normal life now, so that's good. And so he now has a computer, and we are trying to arrange for Sho, and Sho has done a lot of this work, to go and be with him in the Northern Island in Japan, in Hokkaido, and be there to have some interactive sessions with myself, and we can discuss his understanding of the technology, try and flesh out some of the things that we've discussed over the last, well, essentially since late 2018 with his work, and try and get to some agreement. However, with the book, however, we think that given the fact that the urgency with which I believe and Sho believes that this information needs to be made public, I agree with Sho, and we are going to we have sought permission from him, and hopefully we'll get the answer back in the next few days to take the book here. And if I put it over here, you can see it in all its glory. The book over here, and convert this to a digital format for people to download, and maybe even throw a quick one up that people can have printed, offline. Hopefully we'll get an answer back on that, and if that's the case, I will go through and physically scan this and make this into a document so people can look at it and get a better appreciation of his work, and also the images at the back for the last experiments that he did with the wires, the very simple experiments, which are kind of like only slightly more complicated than the ones that were done effectively like ultra, but if you have scanning electron microscope, those experiments should yield some extremely important corroboration of his work. Now, on a book-related theme, I was sent this by it's a Tintin book, and it's called the Tintin the 7 Crystal Balls, and this is absolutely fantastic because in the book, there is this character that they take from South America. It's some sort of mummy, and it's in this professor's house. And when Tintin comes to visit the professor, there is a thunderstorm that immediately sort of comes about, and the chimney of his house is struck by lightning, and out of the chimney into the room where the mummy and Tintin and the two professors are, this ball lightning spinning comes in. And I'll just read you a little excerpt from this, because it's rather fascinating. So it starts on page 28. Now, interestingly, this was published in 1948. So this would be the time when Winston Bostick was starting to research what he later called plasmoids. So on page 28 it's brum brum. Excuse me, Hercules, but I think there's someone knocking at the door. And it's about this lightning. And then this ball lightning comes down, and there's crack, and the ball lightning comes through the chimney, and it's going around, and it's going near the walls and causing all kinds of havoc, chasing the dog and upending people. And then it goes bang, and the mummy disappears, and they go, oh, good lord, the mummy! Raskar Kapak's disappeared, vaporized, vanished into thin air. Vaporized, I love that phrase. There's nothing left but the jewels. But Professor Tarragon, what's the matter? It's nothing. Read the rest of my translation. There will come a day when Raskar Kapak will bring down upon himself the cleansing fire. In one moment of flame, he will return to his true element. On that day will punishment descend upon the desecrators. Excuse me, Hercules. The prophecy is fulfilled. Raskar Kapak is gone, and I am struck down by his curse. I feel it. Me too. And it smells very strong. Sulfur, isn't it? So here we have this book in 1948, which has this spinning ball lightning that comes from a lightning strike. And actually, he introduces the character. Here's the culprit, our friend Raskar Kapak, frightened your dog. Raskar Kapak, he who unleashes the fire of heaven. He who unleashes the fire of heaven. And the fire of heaven turns out to be a ball lightning. And when the ball lightning explodes, it produces a sulphurous smell. Isn't that something? So there we go. That is Tintin and the 7 Crystal Balls. And I would suggest you get a copy of that. And it's rather fun to watch. Okay, now the last thing is I will, hopefully by the end of next week, launch the Kickstarter for the picture book of the Vega Valley. And in there I hope to have both SEMs, the Vega Valley, a sort of a basic overview of how it was produced with the imagery around that. And these will be curated selection of the ones that I've already shown you. And depending on how many people do the uptake for the book, I may extend the number of leaves in the book, and also I may take a whole series more, because I can get up to 50 segments from the Vega Valley. Now all of them won't be so interesting as some of the ones I've already taken, and some of them will be more interesting, and so that will take time, but depending on the uptake, I will spend more or less time on that. Those images will eventually be as NFTs, and from that point on it will not be possible to get the book. So basically you're getting something in your hand, physical, of the Vega Valley, of assets that will eventually become the property of whoever purchases the digital asset and takes the rights forward of that. And this is in order to fund help fund the research that I do for the MFMP, and also the researcher Henk and those working on the Vega project. Now the reason I want to do this is because I have done a book, as you're aware, this one for Alexander Parkhomov, and this will be the type of kind of book, a black and white book, that I will do for John Hutchison's biography, but I will also do a colour book in a similar way to the one that I'm going to kickstart next week, and that will be a colour book that will accompany it. Now you can buy the black and white book, which will have the SEMs or whatever in the second half of the Mr. Possible book. Mr. Possible, the images, they will be color SEMs and color microscopy and optical macro photography, and so they will part the book. So I basically want to get practice the skill to produce a book using the Vega Valley samples that will then be the skills that I will use to deliver the book for the second part of the package that I will do as it is next year. And hopefully some of the insanity will have stopped surrounding whatever the nonsense we're seeing at the moment with these kind of restrictions on freedom of movement and so forth. Anyway, so back to the thing in hand. What have we got in our shot here? We have the camera here, this one here, which is the one that you can see looking like that. And we have the microscope here, the Dynalite Edge 3 over here, which we will maybe look at some things that we take out of here. And then we have some measuring tools and a few things to help us take it apart. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So there we go. So I'm just reading some of your comments with that. Yeah, someone says yin yang in that cover art. Yes, there's all kinds of things in this book which it makes you think what people were thinking about in high society in France. I mean, obviously France was one of the first countries to get to the N-bomb, and obviously, you know, they were ahead of the game. Obviously, they would be thinking also about technology related to all this sort of nuclear processes, but it's just the way it has the word element in there, and the fire of God or whatever, and it's just the whole segment on that is just, it's really weird to read it with what we're doing. Okay, so anyway, we've got the microscope here ready to have a look at things. You can see my finger under here, so we can look at that. So let's start having a go at taking this apart. Now this is it's a happy and sad thing for me because I've loved having this on my desk. So thank you to the Lion author. And it's I kind of feel a little bit weird taking it apart now. So let's give it a go, shall we? Crack it open, come on. All right, Warren, let's have a go. All right, so we have this roaming camera here, so we can get right in close and get a very good look at things with this camera. And it actually allows you to we can go around here as well, so you can see. In fact, what I'll do is I'll hold this and we'll go up a bit, so we've got a bit of perspective on it, and I will just rotate it around for those that don't know what it looks like. So basically it's made by Alan Smith when he was running a little web shop for experimenters called Looking for Heat, and it's made of aluminium oxide, alumina, foamed alumina block. This is the sort of stuff you would make kilns out of for firing, you know, ceramics. And he has this sort of a probably got glass type, Parkhomov cement type mix stuff here. If you go back into our archives, you'll see how you make Parkhomov cement, and stuck together with that. And you can actually see where he's drilled the holes here on the block. It would have cracked this large piece of foam and alumina, and he stuck it together with cement and also stuck this back piece on. Now the two power attachment units are on the back here, and effectively this is a folded glow stick. So Alan Goldwater made this thing called the glow stick, which is kind of inspired by Parkhomov and other things, and essentially we had two in a line like our dual Celani cells, and the idea was that there wasn't going to be much heat crosstalk, but it was one single solenoid wire, so that along the whole piece of wire the same current was flowing through it, and if you had the same amount of turns on one side and the other side, you should have a similar sort of heat delivery. And so that was the idea, and effectively this is kind of like that folded round like so, to give you this type of structure. And that is what we are looking at there. So I'm going to switch cameras to the overhead camera here, and we are going to have a look at this. So oh, it's going to make me scared. Okay, ready. Oh dear. Okay, so I don't know the best way to go into this. The last time we did one of these, it wasn't so much. The bottom was taken off. So maybe I will do that. I don't know. These are probably just pop off. So if I just push down on them, no, they're actually really strong, and I'm going to pinch my finger and hurt myself there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn this camera off, and I'm going to record the crack here from another angle. So so for the minute, I'm just going to switch out of that, and I'm going to go into my camera here. And I'm going to record this here, so you can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm recording on the camera a different angle, and I will do it with the wide. And I will switch that to. Okay. Alright, so I'm recording here, and what I'm going to do is actually just, I found last time when I did this, I can actually, and maybe I will zoom in, I think I can zoom in to this, if I, give me a sec, I will zoom in so we'll get a closer look at what we're doing here. Okay, so, that better? No, over there. Oh, get my perspective right. There we go. Okay, so you've got a closer look at this. All right. Okay, I think we're going to go through this gap here. And I think what I did last time is I just put it in. I've got a hammer here, so I don't want to crack the actual core, but okay. I'm just going to turn this, and that's coming across quite nicely. Okay, so there we go. That's looking rather nice. Pop this open. Okay, so what do we have? This is what we have. Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay, so the one on the right is where the active core was, and that's very, very interesting. I don't know if you can see it from there. I'm going to try and zoom in. Let me try and zoom in. Can you see that on this side, where is it? There. And I'm going to have to focus that a bit better. So let me do that. Oh, that's worse, Bob. That's worse. Is that better? Is that better? Is it going to work if I put it on autofocus? Right. I'm going to switch cameras, I think. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but around the active center of this active core, there is a huge amount of alumina that's been vaporized away over here. So I'm going to change the cameras here. I'll zoom out on this one. I don't know why I'm not getting a focus there. That's not so good. Maybe it's because of the zoom level. It's probably the zoom level. Maybe I can focus it better on this. There. Okay, there we go. So this is the active core. I think, not so sure this was the active core, but Lion can confirm this. But it would appear that a large amount of alumina has been eaten away over here. So that's a little bit fascinating for me right now, and we've seen this kind of thing before in other previous Lions. So I'm going to stop the recording over here, and I'm going to switch back this camera because it'll give us a better close-up. So we can look here, and I will zoom in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about here. Look at that. Okay, so that large amount of alumina there has just gone. It's just gone. Okay, I'm actually going to switch to a different camera, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. How am I going to do that? Maybe I can do it like this. Okay, that is a lot of material that's been removed from there. A lot of material. Now also we can see here that the fused quartz has cracked, and over on this side we can see some flow of material around it. Okay. Alright, now I'm just going to have a quick look around this to see if I can see any of these usual kind of, how should we put this, vortex structures, and I don't see anything immediate on this. It's very affected. It's all that kind of brown look that we saw before. Okay, so you can see, and I'm going to turn the flashlight on here, actually. Give us a different kind of impression of it. Look in the back of the core here. Okay. Oh. Oh, it's going haywire. All right. Put that back on autofocus. All right. Okay, all right, there we go. Zoom back out. Okay, sorry for the shaky camera. Okay, there we go. All right, well, I think this side is the most interesting side. I'm kind of like a little bit reticent to start cracking it out of there, but I'm going to have to because I think that when I do, it's going to start falling apart. So, but let's do it anyway, shall we? I don't want to damage this side. I think. Has anyone got any comments? I don't think I want to damage that side because that is the area that seems to have been consumed most. Now, bearing in mind, alumina melts at over 2,000 degrees centigrade, and fused quartz melts at about just a little over 1,700 degrees centigrade. So it's interesting to me that so much alumina has been removed when it doesn't look like the fused quartz has gone. So is it a chemical or a nuclear process? Is there some sort of hidden vortex in there? I don't know, but maybe we should have a look at whether we can see any variation in radiation counts on that. I don't know. Would that be a good thing to do? Bob, what's happening? We are looking at the Lion reactor, and if I push it over there a bit, and I go like that, we are looking at it here. And we cracked it open, and what we found is that on the active side, about where the active core would be, there is a large amount of alumina missing from one side, and also that this core is cracked. Now you see this drill line here. Actually, if I go and do this, not that. This drill line here was where the thermocouple was, and you can see that actually the head of the thermowell that went into here was really very close to the what would appear to be the very hot part of the core. Now, in previous reactors, the thermocouple was in a different place, and you can see actually it was here originally, and this gave it an offset, and you can see here that it's not actually as close to the core, and it gave us a misinterpretation of what the actual temperature of the core was originally. And so when we did our attempted replication, we were trying to reach 850 degrees C maximally, and in fact the actual reactor goes over 1000 degrees C, and that's very important, as we learned from Parkhomov's Space Earth Human and other work. That is the temperature at which you start producing relic neutrino analogues, cold neutrinos, in theory, according to him, and that would lead to the production potentially of transmutation via that kind of inverse beta reaction pathway. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and crack this open, but I think maybe we'll just put a tape measure on there, and we will switch cameras to the overhead view, I think, in order to just change the zoom level on that. On the overhead view. And I go here. Maybe I can. What is that? Not so good focus on this camera. Okay. Not so easy to get a good focus. Okay, so I'm just going to put a tape measure down there so we can see. So the whole sort of block there is about 12 centimeters, and from this back end it is about starts about 5.5 or 5.3 centimeters in, and then it goes to around about 7.4, 7.6. I have to say that the useful units of inches, it's about 2 point and a bit up to 3. It's within that 2 to 3 inch zone. But it is interesting the way where he cut to here. That is almost directly opposite the hot point. So well done, Lion, in that estimation. Of course, he would know where the bolt went in, and this is an iron-rich bolt here. We can show that because we have magnets. So if I get a magnet, I can show you that that is iron-rich. I have these magnets here, so you can see that that is an iron-rich bolt, and I've described how if there were the monopole-like structures, they would be synthesized by the deuterium being made into nuclei of deuterium, deuterons, and those may be clustering into these magnetic monopole-like structures, these pseudo-monopole-like structures, and that they would bind all these Beirut atoms, these type of almost like dineutrons, and that they would bind to the end of this long bolt that goes into here. So potentially my guess would be that this bolt goes in as far as around here, and then that's where most of the action occurred. And maybe if we crack this bolt out of here in a minute, we'll find out if that theory is true or whether I'm completely deluded, which is always possible. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take our detector here, this one, which has been sitting on the mushrooms for a long time. I'm just going to take the data off that and reset it. And what I will do is when we've done this, I will put it on top of here and see if we are getting any X-rays of any sort of interesting energies out of that. So just give me a second. Go here, and I need to go here. Right. Spectrum. Okay. I'm going to save this spectrum. Save spectrum to library. Mushy 2. Done. Okay. And I'm going to reset the spectrum here. By the way, those that are interested, you can't see this. I could show you, but I'll upload the data. It doesn't appear that there's that strong cobalt 60 line after I've done a long spectrum here. And this has been 6 days sandwiched between the mushrooms. So it's less of an issue with the cobalt 60, and this is a statistical thing. In fact, I don't see the fact that there's any cobalt 60 in those mushrooms, which is reassuring. So there we go. Statistical errors, and you need a longer sample and you get better data. So that's something to bear in mind when we put it on here. So I'm going to reset the spectrum now. And I will do that. I'll leave that on there when we are finished. Okay, so I'll come back and we can look at what we're actually doing here. So I will do that afterwards. Okay. So I don't really want to do this, but I'm gonna crack this out of here now. So let's do it. I can see that it's going to probably break at this point. Does anyone have any advice before I go ahead of here with this? Maybe what I should do is I should undo this wire from here first, because that's going to prevent it from coming out. So this part of the coil, take that off. Thank you, Alan Smith, for this device, and thank you, Lion, for all your hard work in coming up with this technology. And there we go. So I've separated that. Now the other thing is, down the other side here, this is coming through here, so we're going to actually have to crack that out where this wire's passed through, or what I can do is maybe undo this end. I'll switch to the other camera so you can see what I'm doing here. Which one? That one. Okay, that one. So I'm here. Just taking this out because there's this. It's going through this little hole here. So take that little joiner off. And so this should allow that to come out there. Oh dear! Look at the end of that. Can you see that? In fact, almost looks, I don't know what's going on there. What's going on there? Looks like there's almost like a little spherical hole there. I don't know if you can see this. It's actually quite interesting. Let me get this so it's in shot. Okay. Can you see that? Can you see that? It's like a little sphere. It's like a bubble. Bubble that has burst and, you know, it's lost one side of it, but it's very spherical. Okay. All right. Okay. It's going to go horribly wrong. Sorry, Lion. Is it going to... It's actually fused in there really rather hard. Okay, so it's cracking at this point if I put it up there. So what I'm going to try and do is maybe crack it off this side. I don't know. That's going to get in the way, isn't it? Oh dear. It really is locked in there hard. Any ideas? Any ideas? It's literally fused in there. This bit I think I can break off. I'm not sure I want to do that. The actual core is not wanting to go anywhere. It's definitely fused in there. I'm going to get some plastic, I think, so that I can put it on there. If anyone's bored, let me know. Some plastic. Now the reason I use plastic is because if you put it on paper, it gets contaminated with things. Oh, I got something better. Aluminum foil. Given the fact that it's made of aluminium oxide, I'm not really adding anything to the story here. So I have a large sheet of aluminum foil here, you can see in the background, and I'm going to place things on that as I extract them. Okay, shiny. Okay. Lordy. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? My friends all got Porsches. I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime. No help from my friends. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? It's so hard locked in there. I really don't know which way to go with this, because this is going to crack. This is going to crack. I'm going to lose some stuff here. Sorry, Lion. You know what? I'm tempted to actually throw this under the microscope before I move it, because if I do damage it, I can't do anything about it once it's cracked out of there. So let's have a look at this under the microscope and see what we can see. So I'm going to get that out of the way. Once you broke it, you broke it. So let's not break it to start with. Okay, go like that. Go like this. I think I'm going to just put it on there. I can't move it around very easily, can I? Let me go up there. Maybe I can. Is that going to allow me to do that? It's going to be too high, isn't it? No, I can get it under there. Right, let's see what we can see. I'm going to switch over to here. This is under the microscope live. For those that want to know, it's looking like this. Like this, like that. Oh, can you see that? Okay. So we've got the microscope here, and using the microscope we have this little thing so we can go up and down, and this table will allow us to move left and right. So let's have a look and see what we can see. Okay, so there we go. This is the microscope. Is this going to be any good whatsoever? I don't know. So you can definitely see the crack here. A lot of aluminium oxide dust there. Try and get this a little bit more stable on the base. Okay. Okay, so that is one of the heater solenoids. little bit of wobble here. You see some colours there? We're going to go to the end here. We'll start at the end. Okay. Ooh, is that a ring-like structure there? Is it? I don't know. No. Well, maybe. Don't know. So this is the far end. Sorry for the wibbly wobbly. Go through the focal plane there. So whatever's sticking out of the back of the reactor, you can see a little bit of what it looks like there. Very wibbly wobbly. What have I got underneath it? I don't know. Okay. Not so interesting there. See the contrast changing on the microscope there. Now we are at the sort of you can see at the top there, and maybe you can't, maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, but up here on the frame it's got about 43 magnification. Now we can go to about 220, but we really need to find something that's interesting. So let's have a look around first. Okay, so this is coming down to the edge, so I'm going to need to move the focal plane. Okay. Interesting, you can see there's a piece that's been eaten out. So this is actually in the side wall of the alumina. There has been some alumina in a large sort of bubble area that's been eaten out. What is the actual scale of that? Let's have a look at that. We can go here to here. That's 0.8 of a millimetre. That little bubble there. And it looks like there's one down here as well. A couple around. Now we did find this before where there were areas eaten around by the heater element. There could be, you know, a range of effects going on there. So it's actually quite interesting to look at this kind of area in the focal plane. Going down I'm going down the side edge. Here we go. Go up and down in the focal plane. Up to the heater solenoid. And then down to the side. So you can see what I'm doing. It's like this at that point. So we're coming up to the area where this large chunk of material was kind of eaten away. So let's go back to the microscope. And here we go. This is coming into this eaten away area. And there's this crack. So there's a lot going on in this area. This crack going around. And we're getting really down into it now. I have to change the actual zoom level to get any closer, to be honest. I'll move over. There's a large area that's consumed here. can't really get the focal point in there tight enough. It's very grey. Is this copper oxide? Is it carbon? It seems to have a thickness here, so obviously the contrast is adjusting here. This is on the edge of this area. I'm going to work my way around the edge. So you can see something is penetrating in to the alumina. Maybe it's some sort of chemical physical interaction. There we go. There we go. And so you can see one of the heat solenoids here. And I'm going to come up. Okay, you can see definitely something is fused into there. There's the actual solenoid heater wire. If I come over here, you can see it's much less affected here. Come across the wire now. Okay. Now this is Cantal wire, so it's iron, chrome and aluminium, and the aluminium forms a passivating layer. It's an aluminium oxide layer on the surface, which then protects the iron chrome from damage via oxidation. So yeah, you can definitely see there's quite a bit of cracking going on with this fused quartz around this area where this large amount has been eaten out. So that is beyond that zone now. Now, is there anything interesting there on the transition area? Is there? I don't know. See, I can zoom in actually and go up to around about 200 times. Yeah, 200 something. I need to get the focus different, distance different. There we go. You have to be very patient with this. I mean, the more you zoom in, the much larger the landscape is, as it were. So are we seeing anything interesting here? I don't know. Maybe. Something has come into this area and given it this black mottled. What are these green chips in this otherwise normally white alumina alumina foam rather. I'll go back to the area where at this zoom level where we have more of this black stuff. Go on to the edge here where the interaction is occurring. This is where I kind of like the Narugu lens better, because you can move around it, but it's not so good with something that's so 3D like this. Okay, I'm going to come back out on my zoom. Come along that eaten out area again. Now, would that be a double layer? I mean, this definitely looks like this material has thickness, whatever it is. I would be pretty sure that it's copper in there. There would be a large amount of copper, I believe. But is it a large amount of carbon as well? Because we know that other ion reactors, the carbon gets eaten out of the diamonds, and then that gets transported. And in fact, many of the diamonds just frankly disappeared. And you just had these holes in the nickel in the core. So we know that there was some changing of morphology of the nickel. If you remember the Orion Nebula from my Seek and Share presentation in Sochi in October 2018. Okay, all right. I'm going to go and just move this a little bit so that I can get to look a little bit down the other side where there's quite a nice incrustation on one of the heater wires. Fortunately, the tension on this is allowing it to, so this is the incrustation I'm talking about. It's weird how this works its way round the heater wire. It flows around the wire like it's being moved by something. And you know, Matsumoto talked about this, that material is moved with the microball lightning. This is the Cantel heater wire. Okay, and there's a lot of cracking going on up here. Can we see anything in there? That's the Cantel heater wire. Nice shift focus. And we'll do that again. This is just gravity-fed shift focus. Be able to grab those frames and make a high depth of field on that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a new thing here called Lion 4, and I'm just going to grab a couple of images here. This crack section here I think is rather interesting, because we're going to lose all of this interesting data. When we break this all up. What is going on here? What is going on there? What's going on in there? So this is how you use this Dyno Capture 2, the software that comes with the Dyno Light microscopes. And I'm going to measure this crack here for them to just see what we are looking at here. So you know, this is about 0.39 of a millimeter. There we go. And for the record, I'm going to go and find a piece of the wire. We'll just delete that now. Don't really need it on there. And I can find a piece of the wire that's in focus, like somewhere here. We'll just get a measurement on the Cantel wire here. So I would guess that this is a 1 millimeter thick Cantel wire, approximately. There we go, so we know our wire thickness. Okay. Now there's some structure down here which I think is a bit interesting. It's going to make the whole stage wobble, so I'm going to have to move it. So give me a second. I'm going to switch to an overhead view, like, yeah, I can switch to that one. Not quite the overhead view, is it? Yeah, it's the overhead view. Right. I want to take this off here. Move that down there. I'm going to move this up so that I can get a little bit more play underneath. Put this on here. Well, I'm actually using these broken neodymium magnets for it because it's quite nice to locate the moving table and hold it in place. Okay, so hopefully I can have a look at this end over here. Maybe if I turn it around. No, I'll turn it around that way. Not getting it, am I? I want there. What are we looking at there? This structure looks to me to be the most interesting so far, and it's not that interesting. I'm looking at this. It's this blemish on the outside here, but it's not that interesting from what I can see here. Now, when you look at some of these clearer areas outside of the main action, this is where you see these monopole structures sometimes on the inside of the glass, but this does look like it ran for a long time, so it might be difficult to determine anything useful. The wires are much less damaged down here, this end. Okay, I think I've seen enough there for what we have. I'm going to go and really do some damage now with this. So wish me luck. How do we want to do this? Now, for those that are interested, I have developed this technique, which I'm using here now, to use smart cameras with a piece of software called NDI. And it's relatively cheap. It's like $20. And you install it on the phone, and then it has the functionality of being able to zoom, like I'm doing here, and I can turn on the flashlight here, and I can change the resolution, and I can do all kinds of funky stuff with it, and it actually goes over the network, and then you can download these new tech digital interface NDI drivers for your computer, and you can capture all that via the free software straight to your hard drive, and it's very, very powerful. And had I set it up correctly on this old S7 that I use for my Narugo, I could have used the Narugo microscopy as well using this software. So this would be a network handheld microscope that works at 400 times. So I'll try and get that for the next session where we do a live session. And Alan Goldwater picked up one of these S7s on an eBay auction for $49, and so in the US, and so it's $70 or about for the microscope attachment. So now for about $110 you can with the NDI tool, which as I said is $20, that gives you a mobile wireless microscope that can do 400 times and capture video straight to your hard drive. So, okay, does the lid tell us anything? Is a question by Gordon Doherty. I think if we do have a look at that right now, the lid tells us, in my view, if you look at this, and I'm going to zoom in to the side here where the active core was, you can see that there is some diffusion. So I would suggest that there was some material that was physically vapor deposited onto the alumina in here. So it's basically evaporated metal from the Cantal, potentially. So you can see this here, but it isn't like in this area, it doesn't look like it's actually melted anything, but maybe there is something interesting with these holes. So yeah, these generally look like holes in the foamed alumina, like larger bubbles, but I think it's certainly worth having a look at these to see if any of them are our usual suspect type structures. Nothing stands out immediately looking around this. And that's the hole where the power wire would go out. So this generally looks like just holes in the foamed alumina in this case. So good question there, and Gordon Doherty, thank you for that. Let's have a look at the other side, just for the sake of it, as we are here. Let it come out a little bit. Looks largely the same, to be honest. Okay, so that was that. Thank you, Gordon Doherty, for that question. Okay, so I'm going to do this. It's going to break it. The most interesting part, I think, is around here. I don't know whether I can, like I say, I'm most interested on this side. Maybe I can crack this there and end up by splitting one side off. So I'm going to give that a go. So let's go to the overhead camera, which is here, and I'm going to do a recording on the other camera. If my fingerprint works at an angle, having handled alumina. So I'm going to record this, and I'm going to crack this open. Oh dear. I'm going to take this off. No, that's not doing it. Oh, there we go. That's the first bit off. Why didn't you see? You didn't watch that, but I did do it. It's now off. Sorry. The other camera gave a still frame whilst I did that. I've just ripped this bit off. So we now don't have that bit on there. What I'm hoping I can do in a second here is crack this bit in half. Oh. Maybe I can put that under there. No, that's not going to work, is it? It's not going to work. What do I want to put under there? I have a wonderful Gerber knife over here. It's a wonderful Gerber knife. Look. Thank you to my dear departed father for that. Right. Okay, I'm going to crack it down here. Wish me luck, guys. Okay, you ready for this? I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Okay, all right, that worked. Now, The interesting thing is, we've seen this before. We have this melt zone here. You can see it here. Yeah? I'm going to switch to the other camera because you're going to get a better view of it. So let me just switch to that. Okay. So we're going to have a quick close-up on this area here. Okay, so I'll just crack this piece off here, and you can see we had this melt zone here. Now we saw something very similar with, I think, Lion, I think maybe 2 it was, which I also cracked open live on camera. So I'm going to zoom into this, and you can see that this really is an interesting kind of melt area here, which maybe adjust the focus here. Yeah, I don't know if that's better. Throw some light on it. It's not going to make it any better. Maybe I'll physically move it in. Okay. You see how that something has come out of this area here, and it's kind of like come into here. Now I think this is copper in some sort of fluid, some oxide or something that comes out and does this with these reactors. Okay, so we're going to try and get this up a bit. Now, I'm going to try and crack this bit off over here. It's all getting a bit covered in aluminium oxide. Try and do a little bit more. Oh dear, it's very scary. Right. Now, I can actually see a piece of quartz fell out. It's gone down there. I might want to take that just to have a look at it later. So I have some fine tweezers to help me with this task. So I'm going to nick that piece which has just fallen down there. Right, this piece, little piece here. I'll put it over there. Oh, yeah, there you go. I'll have some sample containers, because it's where these cracks occur that sometimes you see the most interesting things. Now, now look, this thing that I thought was a little bit, is it that bit? I don't know. Look at it now, this thing here. Can you see it? Can you see this thing here? I'm going to zoom into that. Not whether that's going to be interesting, but you couldn't see anything on the camera earlier, but it definitely looked like one of the most interesting things so far on this. So if I zoom into that now, look, what is that? What is that there? What are we looking at there? It's a ring and a spot type thing, isn't it? Can I get a better focus on that? Maybe not at that distance. Maybe if I go like that. There. What is that? What happened there? What happened there? Anyway, I think that might be something interesting, and I want to have a look at that with Naruga at some point. So I really don't want to damage this feature here. Okay, so let's not try and touch it with the tweezers. Okay. Okay, we're going to continue trying and crack off this side here. Ooh, yeah! You see how much it's fused in here. So, okay, all the way down here, even down here, it's kind of fused in. Look, have a look. There we go. It's all kind of fused down there. Down there, down there, down there. Okay. Not so easy. Feel like I'm doing a sculpture class here. What do we see here? What do we see here? Nothing so not really interesting there. Just the end is a bit more of the maybe the material is leaked out. Okay, so okay. So we're getting a little bit more of a side view here of the reactor. And have a look at the end here. This bubbly area here, bubbly. Okay. Excuse me. Right, so that's the bit that I'm really interested in at the moment. That little ring type piece there. Okay. All right, so this is all fused around this central area opposite this area over here. So I don't know. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge to break this thing out of here. But we will do what we can do. Okay. Okay, look at this. Now, something has worked its way. Now, where did this come from? Let's see if I can reconstruct where this went. This went around there. Okay, so I pull that off of there. You can see here we have something that came. It came off this bottom piece here, where there seems to be some material that's pooled on the bottom of the heater wire there. So I'm gonna keep this. This might be more interesting than some other things that we've seen, and it's there. So not overly inspiring, but we are starting to see this kind of pooled area here, this lava pool. You see how it is soaked into the porous foamed alumina. And yes, we did see this kind of effect before. So I imagine that this type of effect is occurring all the way around in here as well. And that might be the way we get into this. Any marble carvers out there? They'll be saying, you need this tool. You should be using this. I'm sure Corky's got some tools in his toolkit that would be much more appropriate than what I'm using. I'm going to go for looking at this from the top. I think maybe I'm going to get a slightly more top-down view on this as I go for this next crack session, because I'm going to go somewhere in here. Okay, good luck. That's just telling myself good luck. Okay, right, so you can definitely see here this pool section around here. Right, not sure I want to go in there because I might damage the pool section, so I'm going to take it off over here. Okay, good. Excellent. Right. Yeah, so we're getting this underside of this area here. Nope. Okay, right, did you see that? Look, there we go. There it is. I think that is probably as good as I could have hoped for in terms of extracting it without it completely falling apart. So I'm quite happy with that, actually. I'm quite happy with that. I hope Lion is happy with that. So so that basically dropped out of there, and we've kept to this blob on the bottom, and we can have a look at that. And I can actually see here the original core in there. So let's do a bit of clear up here. There's a couple of pieces I want to grab. Maybe I can come out a little bit so you can see what I'm grabbing. I'll go up a little bit. I'm going to grab this bit over here because this is a piece of the original quartz. So I'm going to grab a couple of those. There's one over here. There's another one here. And what I'll do is I have all these sample containers. I will put those in there. Okay. Probably the more interesting bits. And there's a large piece over here. You can see that. There we go, there's a large piece. I'll take that one. And that, I think, is the majority of that. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at this using our camera here. But I think we've cracked the core, the main core out of there, and actually just to let you see, the other one came away, and that is also cracked here and kind of broken away. So there is the other core. You can see in there, but actually the actual main part of it is intact. Okay, it looks like that this got hotter than the other line cores. It definitely looks like this got quite a bit hotter. So we'll put that to one side, and I am going to come over here and we're going to have a quick look at this. Okay, so I think we can agree that whatever pulled from there is probably the bulk of the copper, the original copper that was wound in around it in 2 layers, and that has worked its way into the now this is interesting. It works its way into the foamed alumina. This is a piece that's just dropped out of there, out of that, and we'll keep that to one side. These are the pieces that often have the most interesting things on them. You might not think it, but if you don't look, you don't know. Okay. So you can definitely see here this pattern we've had in the past where this piece of quartz looks barely affected, but it has this very precise cracked line, okay? And outside of that cracked line, it's 100% affected with this green kind of splodgy stuff. So let's have a look. You see what I'm saying here? So this is basically pretty much clear quartz, not quite as clear as the end down here, the original stuff, okay? This stuff, and there's this feature on here that I'm interested in looking at with more detail. Yeah. But this is pretty much that clear. But then it right next to it, it has this highly affected material. And there's actually this piece right in the middle here, which is similar to that. It's very weird how this does that. Okay, and there's probably a couple of more bits that's going to fall out of here in the middle. There's a little slither here. I don't know whether I can extract it. Can I extract that bit? I'll zoom back out so you don't get shaky vision. I'll extract this bit. Oh, hello, 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 my friend. Come this. This is the sort of bit. This bit here is the sort of bit that you might find something interesting on. I can already see something that I think might be interesting on there. Might be not look interesting to you, but okay, so we've extracted that bit, and there's a very fine slice in here. I'm trying to get this out without breaking it. There we go. Okay, okay. Actually, doing this on camera is quite helpful because I'll be able to look back and see what bit came from where. And again, this looks like it might have something interesting on it, but it's the crack lines, where it broke. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be many. So there's another loose bit here. You can see here, and if I push that, it'll probably just pop out. No, it's not. It's actually in there with a little bit of strength. Okay, so so I can move this piece out here. So I'm going to move that piece out here, and that's nice. That's nice because that gives us this piece with the feature in it, this potential feature here that I'm interested in. And I would like to see that from the inside and the outside. So, and then these edges can sometimes reveal some nice details. Okay. Now there's a loose piece here. No, that's not loose. Okay. This is all pretty much stuck in there. Now look at this end again here. Look at that. That bubble on the end there. Okay. Okay. Okay, we've got two kind of areas here. Oh. That's the core there. Core seems to be fairly intact. I'm gonna probably, it might be better to cut this off of here to leave that piece on there where it seems to be semi-fused on, so I don't lose this bubble area on the end here that I want to inspect at another time. So I'm going to probably have a go at cutting that off. Here comes my trusty Gerber. That's a little cutter there, so I'll cut that off on this end. And I'll cut it off on that end. Okay. Good. Okay, so this is our piece with the bubble on it, and I want to have a quite close look at that. It seems to be fairly giving me the sense of being a little bit brittle in the hand. So that is quite interesting. I don't know if you can see that, but actually that spherical hole in there has this other agglomeration. You can see it in there. No? Interesting, it's thin down here. Very much thinned the quartz at this side. So, I don't know, that's over there. Right. Try and cut this piece of, oh, there we go. Something fell off there. I'll take that. This piece here. Okay. Alrighty then. Okay. I'm not so interested in this piece of Cantal. So that just broke off there anyway. So goodbye to you. Now, can I crack this out of here? Do I want to crack it out of there? I like the fact that it's all located into place. The core really does look pretty much intact. Although I have to say that clearly the copper wire has come off here and probably pulled and melted down into this thing. It's actually quite heavy, by the way, for the size of it. It feels heavy. And so that's the metal that's in this thing that's melted here. But if you look down there, you can see, maybe I can turn the light on, there we go. I can zoom in. Maybe I change the focus. So do a focus pull. Or fix the focus and I'll move in and out of the hand. I've got the light on at the moment. You see it's wetted down there at the bottom. The gap around the top, and you can see where, now there was 2 layers of copper wire around this, and so Lyon said that the reason he did that was to provide thermal conduction from the inside of the quartz to the core. That was the reason he did it. But of course EVOs like to live in copper, being conductive. And so down this end, the copper wire is copper oxide here. So that's on the other side. So if I zoom out, I'll switch back to continuous autofocus. And we'll go and zoom out a bit. So down here, the copper wire is obviously melted and pulled down in this area. But it hasn't melted here, but it has oxidized. So clearly, the hottest area was around this part. And that, I think, would be at the end of where this nut bolt went and where I believe the magnetic monopoles would aggregate. So I'm now going to try and pull this piece of the Cantal away. Okay. Okay, and then we should find under this bit, we should find the copper wire, which has not been so affected. So there we go. You see, so this is the copper wire, and there was 2 layers of it. Yeah. Just straight copper wire. So I'm going to come around here and I'll cut this piece off. And I'll Gerber again. Gerber, 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 Gerber. No, I don't get it right. Okay. Alright. So you can see copper into copper oxide into hot zone, melted. So copper melts at about 1085 degrees centigrade. So it would appear to have melted. And potentially there is a chemical reaction with the quartz, because the quartz underneath that has basically not there anymore. It's completely gone. I don't know if you can see that, but it's eaten all the way through. I'm going to zoom in again. You can see it's melted, and you can see the remainder here. This is the remainder of the Cantal wire here, and this is the quartz, which was clear, and it's just eaten its way all the way through that and flooded the zone below, and it's actually got an area that's quite eaten out below, see? So we know that the copper, because we found the first Lyon pore tracks, we know that that captured exotic vacuum objects. We know when we put it under the microscope and you fired the beam at it, the electron beam, every now and again it would appear that one of these structures exploded and gave its payload of carbon out. And so there we go. So I think the biggest question I want answered, and when I'm looking at this, is this hot zone here at the end of where this bolt goes. And really the only way we're going to be able to find that out is if we can get this bolt out and see how long it is. And that will answer the question, really. And so I think I want to break this. I do. I think I want to break this. Sorry, Lion, I'm going to break it. I need to have that answered. I don't know whether I can apply some force. I'm going to try. And turn the flash off so it's a little bit more even lighted. Lit, rather. Get my English right. So maybe I can go here and just apply a little bit of force. Something's going. Okay, all right, we're ready for this. Ooh, look at him. Look at that, my friends. Look at that. Wow. Boobly boobly. Look at that. That's quite special. That really does look like lava. Okay, look at the area that's been eaten out there. It's massive. Really very large. Smells a little bit weird where I've just cracked there actually. I wonder what was in those bubbles, because I can definitely smell something. I can smell really. I don't. You know, I'm glad I'm not doing this when I had COVID in March to April last year, because I wouldn't be able to experience what I've just experienced. But there's a clear smell that I've just smelt, and maybe there was something trapped in the bubbles here that had a smell. And so, could that be fluorine? Could it be chlorine? You know, I'm thinking of things that smell that I would pick up. Bromine? I don't know. It smells a bit like one of those things that kind of irritates your nose a bit. I really rather like these bubbly areas. I'm gonna just get a closer look on those. I don't want to fill them up with stuff, so I'm going to put that over there, and we'll have a closer look at this. I might throw this under the microscope. Look at that. Ooh, hello. They are very round and spherical. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that steel bar of John Hutchison's where he cuts it open and there are just these spherals removed from it inside the steel. So if anything, I would suggest that the most... Look at that. I really like this grouping up here. This one here. Maybe, I don't know, I can zoom in a bit more. Is that right? This one here. Very nice. I don't know whether we can get, maybe we can get the microscope in there and we'll have a look at these. Characterize some of their sizes. You can see where the Cantal heater wire was inside this structure, whatever it is, whatever this stuff is. Let's throw some light in there. Boom. Gives a little bit of a different look, doesn't it? Look at that. What is going on there? Is that just... See how that's eaten out? Yeah, this is definitely the most interesting bit today so far, in my view, because we've not seen this before in Lion. Get a different angle on it so you can get some idea. Oh, there we have it. So that is rather interesting. Let's have a look at the actual core side. So you can see the quartz on this side, and then how it's just been eaten through, completely eaten through. Yeah, And you can see how maybe this has grabbed it and it's moved it round. And in fact, in one of the other lines, it moved it all the way around the wire, wetted around it. Does remind me of lava. Meltdown. Now look at this one here. This one here. It's got a round bit there, and then a round bit there, and a round bit there, and then a round bit there, and a round bit there. This looks a bit like that kind of like twisted intestine kind of thing on the SEMs that I showed you from Vega Valley, with these circular sections cut out. I wonder if it's a similar phenomenon going on that created this. Very interesting. You know, most people just look at it, oh, it's just bubbles. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. Now look at how around this one there are bubbles all the way around. I think we're going to have a quick look at this under the microscope. Okay, so yeah, clearly it's completely failed here. I'm still not getting the answer I want, which is where does the bolt finish in there? But I think we've got to put this under the microscope first before we see if before I crack it anymore. Otherwise, I don't think we're doing ourselves justice and finding out properly what's going on here. Okay, so I'm going to go to the overhead shot, which I don't know why it's looking at the moment, because the camera zoomed right in, so I'm going to zoom right out. Yeah, Bob Kenter. Does look like the surface of the moon. Yes, it does look metallic, Gordon. It does look metallic, but of course it does have copper, and there are other metals like the iron, the chrome, and the aluminium in the aluminium oxide, and also in the aluminium in the Cantal. Yeah. When it's not so new, Corky. It's been on my desk for a number of years now. It's just new to look at, and I think it will teach us some other things. But I definitely want an answer today on where in this core this metal goes. That's what I'm. And if I have to crack this in half, I want to find that out tonight. So. Because we have, I'll flip cameras again. Because we have this side, I think we have a nice piece of material showing these bubble sections. I'm less worried about keeping this particular piece intact, but we are going to look at this under the microscope now. So let's do that. What I might do, actually, because there's a lot of mess around here, is get the vacuum cleaner out and clean some of it up. It's my sample area over here, and I have a load of sample containers that I'm going to put it in. In fact, I might do that right now. Otherwise, I might knock something and it'll go everywhere and I'll lose it. Bear with me. Amongst yourselves. A sample box here. And I am going to put these samples in one of these. I'll put the green-brown pieces in one. I'll put the clear ones in another. I think we'll have a look at this structure on this one first. Oh, that's a clear one. I don't want that in there. Okay. So. Little container like this. Put it in there. So that's the brown pieces. And I'll put these ones in here. Okay. Right. Okay. Do I want to get the vacuum cleaner out? Not yet. Or do I? Maybe. No, I'm okay for the minute. Maybe I'll go and get a dustpan and brush. I think I've got one in the service room. Did have simply. Not the best solution in the world. I can just get this out of the way. I can suck that up later. Okay. Let's get the microscope in shot. Oh, yeah. Keto. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh the bulk of the core that I've got here, just to get a kind of rough idea of what that is. Just for the sake of it, and we'll get a measurement as well. Okay, so measurement first. The core and the bolt are that's 5 inches long for those that like real measurements. For those that are stuck in the metric world, it's about 12.8 centimeters. Okay, and the diameter of the tube is you can see that is 6 millimeters across. 6 millimeters. Sorry, talking rubbish. It is about 7 or 8 millimeters. 8 millimeters, I would say. Okay. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. And I'll turn this on. Tear it. If you're keeping notes, that for you is 48 grams. And with the bulk of the quartz that came from this end, that puts it up to 56.8 grams, and with the bit that came from the other end, it is 65.2 grams, and the bulk of the copper that would have been around it with a bit of alumina takes that up to 103.5 grams. So there we have it. I imagine the whole core, including the copper winding and the Cantal heater wire and everything, the bolt was around about that weight approximately. Okay, so under the microscope, let's go back to the overhead shot. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to move this down so we're a bit closer. I'm going to move this across. Brush that on. A bit dusty. Okay. Right. We're going to have a look at some of these bubble sections. If it'll stay upright, I need to put something under there. What can I put under there? What can I put under there? Let's put this under there. There we go. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to switch. And I've got it a bit closer. Ooh, hello. Oh, this looks nice. Hello. Ah. Okay. And we are looking at this. Look at that. Yes. The weighing scales of today really do beat what we used to have in the olden days. Okay. This is really rather lovely. Now, what we're going to do here we can zoom up and down. Now, on this microscope, we have the option to change our lighting level and also our polarization. So I'm going to just show you changing the lighting level. So I'll put here, I can get my mic thing up here. We can turn all the lights off, all the lights on. That's all the lights off, so it's just showing the lights in the room. But we can dial down our light here so we can get different contrast. Yeah. And what we can do is we can turn on light quadrants. So we can turn these lights off so we're only looking at one quadrant. And then turn this one on. And 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 it gives us, when you combine these images together, a sense of sort of three-dimensionality by having the different angles. So that is actually the Cantal wire. And this red colour here is cupric oxide, in my view. It's cuprous oxide and cupric oxide. It's very nice, isn't it? What we found out in the past is it bizarrely has no crystal structure. And the cupric oxide should have these wonderful crystals. You can go and have a look at it. Go and have a look at it on Wikipedia if you choose to. Now, this is rather nice, isn't it? Look at that. This is coming up to the boundary edge of where the fused quartz is broken and split. It's really rather nice. It's banding, radiating out, look. Let's have a look at this at a different magnification. But first, before we do that, we're going to try different lighting levels to see what it does to respond to different lighting levels. I'm going to take a couple of images here. We're going to take that one. And maybe if we take some even at this level, there are little bubbles there. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to change the polarization. So, if I rotate this around, it's going to get more and more specular, which means I'm going to have to dial back the light. Yeah. Turn the other lights on, so you get something very, very different. Yeah. So this is where you get a lot of specular, okay, because I haven't got the polarizing on. And if I turn this round, you'll see the specular starts to disappear. And of course I need to throw on a little bit more light to be able to see what I'm doing. You get a very different impression of what's going on. So I can actually take a whole bunch of images here and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a series of images and I'm just going to change the focal depth. And using these in Photoshop, I can then create a photo stack, giving me a high depth of field. Each image here is 5 megapixels. So I'm just doing the depth in the far top right hand corner. And I'm using the scroll wheel to scroll through the depth of field here. Lovely colours there, look at that. Actually, some of this image is off screen, you can't see it. It's actually this shape, so there's a lot more over here. But I'm going to take a bunch of pictures here. Now it does have an automated extended depth of field function, but in my view, as someone that's been doing image work for many years, it's really rather naff, and this is a much better way to do it. So I'm pretty sure that we have some sort of gas that's formed in these bubbles here. Look at that one. It's like very pentagonal shape here. That one. Very pentagonal. Now, obviously there's the other side of that semi-geodesic structure, and I can actually see it, I think. And the other side. I'm gonna take a sequence of depth of field images for this as well. These would be rather nice when I put them together. What I'm waiting for is for the bottom left hand corner part of the Cantal heater wire to become in focus. Right, that's the limit of the focal plane that I can change using the focus in the camera. I like this feature here in the center here, this one here. So I'm going to go and change my magnification. When I do that, I'm going to need to have a little bit more light. So I'm going to throw a bit more light on here, and then I'm going to change the zoom depth so that we are looking at around about 200 times. 220, somewhere around there. So this is the structure I was interested in. Found it. Not overly impressed with it. Let's have a look around. take a couple of depth of field shots here. Change the no. Let's lovely little hexagon here. Whoop, 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 whoop. In the center spot. More like one of those truncated hexagons. There's another one here, and there's another one here, and there's another pentagon shape here. Interesting. More crystal structures. A little bit too much blooming going on. I love these areas. Look at that. Look at that. Let's get some focus on that. Beautiful. I'm going to zoom out so that we can see a larger field of view. Again. And we'll push the light down a little. It's too specular. Anyway, so that is this area. And ordinarily I'd spend quite a long time looking around something like this to pre-screen it before I hoped I was lucky enough to look at it with a microscope. I think for now what I want to do is have a look at that structure on the side of the quartz to see if there's anything interesting with that. But yeah, this is a quick look around this kind of bubbly area here. So I'm going to have a quick look at that quartz, and then I'm going to crack open this core. Okay, I'm going to crack it open. So I'm going to have a look at this piece of quartz here with this, where is the feature there on it, this feature here. So I'll put that under the microscope here. And this is when it gets fun, trying to find a way to hold it up. And I'm going to hold it up like this, using a big screwdriver. There we go. Done. Okay. The eye of the tiger. Well, isn't that a thing? It's not as clear as I'd like it. This is where I need the Narugo. It's still too bright. So it's got some scalloping going on here. We've got a scallop here and a scallop here. And a scallop here and a scallop here. So I think I need to look at this with a different technology. Now these little spots around here, these might be interesting. I don't know whether they are on the inside. Can I get a different kind of light on here that's going to give me a better impression? It's very, very reflective. So I've just got the level of the light here at 1. So there's not a lot of light. I've got the specular right off. This is sometimes, to image these structures, you need actually to have good macro photography, which I will employ. I can't really do that here now. If I bring up in a bit of specular, it's just going to bloom it out. Take the specular away. And I think the next magnification level is going to be too big, although it will bring the light down, so that might work. So let's just look at a segment of it with the bigger magnification. See if we see anything structurally interesting. So that is the eye. It's a bit square boxish. Now I can turn the brightness up. Let's put a little less. Okay. See some recrystallization going on here with the quartz. Very little effect in the center there. Move to the outside edge. Area with the scalloping going on. Of course, there's maybe bubbles in the alumina. We can't discount that, but it is a very specific area that's affected here. I'm just trying to walk around the edge here. Now these little things here, these could be outer focus features on the other side of the quartz, and I think that's what it is. They're just bits of dust. You see, this is how you can be fooled. That looks like something interesting, but it's not. It's something that's on the other side of the quartz that is just out of focus. Okay, so we're looking around on the quartz here and not really getting a lot of love. Top surface, in through center, bottom surface. Okay. All right, well, not so excited about that. I want to have a look at where that bolt goes. That's what I want to do. Okay. How are we going to do this? I think I brought one pair of pliers here. One pair of pliers, like this. And then I've got my Gerber. Sorry, Lion, but all in the name of science. Maybe I can get a better angle on it, close-up angle. Maybe I'll zoom in with this camera. Ooh, up in there. Oh, that's weird. A preset. Oh no. Oh no, it's gone all funny now. Funny now. We'll go back to that camera. We'll go back to that camera. My has gone really messed overhead up. Camera has gone really messed up. Changed its. How did that happen? How did that happen? I know how it happened. Fixed. Fixed. Okay. I'm going to try and crack this. Sorry guys, sorry Lion. Oh, yeah, that definitely cracked it. Interesting. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, hello. Hello. Okay. I don't know if you can see in there, but we're going to put some light on it. And we're going to zoom in. And look. If that's the nickel, can you see that? What the? No, I think I know what Lion did with this. He actually had some iron or nickel foil. I remember him telling me this, that's kind of what's in there. And that you can see it's kind of like rolled up in there. So this is actually different what he was doing here. I have to clarify with him what that was. I will write in the notes when I'm speaking to him. You see that? So he's got some sort of foil in there that he's wrapped around inside. Okay, so I'm going to see if we can get out of this. I'm going to get another piece of foil and throw it on top of here because I want to see if we can get out of it the diamond pads, dia pads. But yeah, this actually looks like a piece of foil. Yeah. I need to find out what foil this is. It's obviously survived the temperature, so it would have to be not copper or zinc or something like that. I think this must be iron or nickel foil or something. He's going to say, I already told you. And I didn't look at the show notes. Okay. So I'm going to put that in sample container because that is a bit of foil from the core. And here we go. In the sample container there. Ta-da. Foil from the core. And I'm going to do a bit more attempting to crack this because I want to find out where this bolt goes to. Okay. Now he seals this in with cement, so maybe I'm better off at this end doing something, trying to crack it. That's not really working, is it? Okay. I'm breaking off the cement here. Okay. Sorry, Lion. Right. I can see the outside of this is coming off, so we'll take that bit off. All right, that's that. It's all gone. I can go over there with the rest of it. And we're going to find out where this bolt went. And I am going to see where the diamond pads is. I'm going to go and get another bit of foil just to put on top of this because I'm hopefully going to get the diamond pads out of it. office colleague is going to come in the morning and say, "What have you done to the place?" Okay. It's more of the foil. Don't see any diamond pads yet. Oh, there's some diamond pads, right, okay. And if you can see that, but these are nickel diamond dia pads. And given the fact that they are not melted at all, it means that the temperature, or seemingly melted, we're going to have a look at one of these under the microscope. But this, my friends, is the initiator for the fuel. And if I can zoom into it, you'll see what I'm talking about, maybe, if I can focus on it. Where's the focus? It's there. This is the dia pad. And this probably is just nickel left. And I will do a separate video tomorrow using the Narugo, and I will put it on the YouTube channel and put it into the blog for this takedown. But that is one of the dia pads. I can count a number of them here. I can see about 5 already. So if I change that back to auto and I zoom in physically, can you see them? There. These are dia pads. Now, what do they look like in the flesh? To start with, I have some which I can show you. It looks like this. This is a flexible diamond product from 3M, and it's when you cut glass and you want to smooth off the edges. These little discs here are made of nickel, and in them they have industrial diamonds. And industrial diamonds, because they've got a little bit of nitrogen doping in there by accident, because it's just the way they're made, they are the best electron emitters they are in the world. Electron emitters. And so you have this electron emitter right next to nickel. And the nickel does the dissociation of the deuterium, deuterium oxide, the heavy water, and you end up with some, in theory, exotic vacuum objects. So that is that. So these are commercially available. And you clean these off, and the process we've talked about before, you heat it to about 200 degrees in a domestic oven for about a week, and then you dunk the hot dia pads into heavy water, let them soak for a while, and then you put them into the reactor. And so we'll have a look at one of these, a couple of these under the microscope. I think there's going to be more in there, but I can already see 5. So let's see what we got. I have to know how far this bolt goes in, and we will find out. We're going to find out. Don't see any more dia pads at the moment. No, there's another one. There's another one. Let's see the bolt being as long as I thought it was. There's another dia pad there. That dia pad almost looks stuck to this, whatever this foil is. see another one there. Maybe not clear to you guys, but sorry. Okay, so the copper starts to really melt from about here. So is the bolt going to about here or not? I guess that's the question we need to answer. And I think that's answered it. That, my friends, I think is the end of the bolt. There. Can you see it? Maybe you can't. Maybe if I focus somehow. They're going to let me focus. There we go. There we go. That, I think, my friends, is the end of the bolt. And just behind that is the point at which the copper completely melted away. And I believe that that is most of the way to where the hot zone was. And I've just done the focusing wrong. Continuous and zoom out. So there is effectively the length of the bolt. So this is part of the melt zone here, so I guess that goes something like that. Like, can see the bubbles there, something like that. Yeah, so that was the theory, and it looks like the hottest and the central part of the hot zone is around the end of the bolt. Approximately. And so my theory was that that's where the action gets focused. And it would appear that that's the case. I don't know if you can see that that is the deepest part of the pool there. So maybe you have this. Where does that exactly go? Is that one? Go. Those two go like that. Is it? Somewhere there, like that maybe. Don't know. I think it's something like that. It's either there. I don't think it's there. I think it's here. So the real hot zone starts at the end of the bolt. And that is where, I guess, where most of the fuel was. And so the implications is that if you have the heater coil going all the way up, but it's where the fuel and the end of this bolt is, it kind of does imply that that was producing a lot of the heat, because the heater coil should mostly be similar temperature. Of course it will be colder towards the end, there's going to be some bleed out. So that's that. So I think we're going to have a quick look under the microscope with the one of the diapads, so you can see what that looks like. And then we'll call it a night, I think. So Gordon Doherty is asking, is the heat thermal, electrical, or both? I would suggest that there is some thermal heat. The researcher did claim that this reactor produced a lot of apparent excess heat, or even suggested it might have self-sustained for a while. I'll get him to clarify those things. But with the first Lion, it lit a 20-watt bulb for 30 minutes, and that was just connecting to the bolt here. and to a drain. And so whatever EVOs, without the power on, so whatever EVOs were stored in there, and it encouraged them to blow up. And I saw a similar effect in Suhas Raukar's lab with the plasma flow discharge onto the steel rebar. And I think we observed, I think it was something like 1.3 volts. George Eagley published it in Infinite Energy in 2017, I think. Late 2017, but I have the videos to share on that at some point of us recording that stored electricity in the metal rebar, as it were. And I believe it's a similar phenomenon to what's going on in the Lion when the EVOs are stuck in there and then they kind of release their power. So I'm gonna what are we looking at? This one? Yes, with the light. We'll look at the top down here. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna zoom out on that a little bit. Okay. All right, so in here we've got some dia pads, and we're going to pull one of those out and have a look at it under the microscope. So I'm going to move this camera out of the way. Move that over there. And we will get one of these beautiful little dia pads. And get it on here. So where's my tweezers? These little dinky little things. Ta-da! Ooh, hello. Ha! I think it's a little bit magnetic. It's not coming off the end. Or maybe the metals, I don't know. Look, oh dear. This one is stuck to some of whatever that metal foil was. And it's magnetic. In fact, they are magnetic. Hold on. Yeah. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to bring the other camera up. They appear to be magnetic, and if they are, what I might do is I might get my other phone out and just see how magnetic they are using the magnetometer in it. Where are they? Let's find one. Switch to. Is it that camera? That camera. Right. You can see that. Look, watch. It's not going to do it now. Yeah, there we go. Look. You see, it's picking it up. How cool is that? Wait, let's get this one. Are they all magnetic? That one doesn't appear to be very magnetic. This one. Is it this one? There's two kind of like stuck together there. They're not all magnetic. Okay, no, not that one. So the one that's got the iron on the back seemed to be quite magnetic. So let's see. Now this is good because I've not brought a magnet near this thing. So if one of these are magnetic, or some of these are magnetic. Okay, it's not that one. Not that one. Not that one. This one here, look. Oh, this one's a little bit magnetic, which is bizarre because the other ones aren't. Look, there we go. Okay. Okay, I can lift that one up. It's almost like it's depleting. That first one with the iron was very well attached as I was trying to put it on the microscope. Now I can't find it again. Oh dear. There's one here. Is that one magnetic? No. It's one of these. Which one is it? This one? It seems to have gone. That's weird. Discharging magnetism. Not that one. Where's the one with the metal bit on it? On the back. Right, I'm going to bring in my other phone, which has a sensor on it, which looks at magnetism. And see if we can see some magnetic field in this. I've also got this little device. Have I got any batteries in it? I have. Pretty good. Right, it's a little device here. And I have a mode. Gauss. Micro Tesla and Gauss. Let's see if I get anything if I come down here. Does it change? Where is the Gauss thing? RF Gauss meter. Well, that's not picking out anything significant, is it? No. Right. Let's try the sensor on the phone, because these are really rather sensitive. What was it? Poltergeist. Hysteresis, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It might be that the thing that's caused it to attach itself has averaged out into the thing that I am holding, because with John Hutchison's work, the whatever did the or enabled the effect to occur would sort of infect other metals and sort of average themselves out into other metals. So it could have been that. It's just interesting that it did it for a little bit of time. And I'm so glad I didn't bring a magnet near this stuff before that occurred. Right now I need a sensors tool. In fact, I've just seen it. Sensors multi-tool. And I will go here and I will go to magnetic. Right, here we go. So this is our magnetic sensors multi-tool. And I think it's up in this top right hand corner where they are. Sensor. So does this change as I bring it down here in any way? Not really. You know what? It can actually sense the neodymiums a long way away. So sensitive. I'm not seeing anything that's giving me any insight here. Now it's doing gyroscope. I don't want that magnet. Yeah. Highly sensitive, not. Yeah, where's that going up? Minus 106, go down. Minus 114. 115, come up. Come up, come up, come up. 106. Go down, go down, go down. 116. 114. Now, it's not inconceivable these could be magnetized. I mean, they're sitting in the middle of a solenoid. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Anyway, not overly convinced with that, but it was worth a try. Just weird that it stuck to the end of the tweezers. Anyway, let's have a quick look at one of these. Okay, let's go back to the overhead camera. Blink. Move this one down here. And let's get one of these on here so we can see it. I want it the scratchy side facing up. Oh, now look, it's completely held itself. I'm not doing anything. This one is completely holding itself to, and now it's fallen off. Which one is it? Why did it do that? Look, I've got now two holding it. It's two that are fused together. Okay, I'm actually going to move this over, and I'm not using the tweezer. It's just holding itself there. In fact, it's not coming off. This is rather annoying. Okay, right. Oh god, now it's dropped off. Right. Why did I have so much trouble before and now it's just working in terms of grabbing on? Right, okay, look, watch this. Now it's not going to work. It's like camera shy. Okay, alright. I'm going to switch cameras. Here we go. Right. These two here, these two down here. Where is it? There. Look, oh, come on. There we go, see? Did you see it? I'm not making it up. Look, look. It's fallen off again. These two, definitely. They like, hold, there we go. Ooh, can I lift it up? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? No, you can't see it. Why? Just focus. There, can you see it? I'm focusing on it now. There, can you see it? They're hanging on the end. They're hanging on the end. I'm not making it up, honest. They are magnetic. Let's see if I can, without it falling off, get the focal plane right. Is that right? There. I'm not making it up. There. See, they are hanging on the end. Look at it, they're hanging on the end. How cool is that? Right, I'm going to see if I can transfer this to the microscope without it. Oh, it's fallen off. Okay, I think you believe me now. It might be holding on to the end. All right, I'm going to put it on the microscope now. It's over here now. Right, come off, come off, come off, come off. Now I have some graphite tweezers, or carbon tweezers, so sometimes they're useful when you have things like this. Come on, off, and now I've split them up. This one's really magnetic, the one that's split in half. Maybe that's one that's picking up, yes! Okay, so hold on. Okay, there's two, but the one that's split in two is now, now I'm stuffed. It's actually gone down and attached itself to the neodymium magnet, so now I can't even call it magnetic because it's probably picked up magnetism from that. Okay, anyway, I'm going to have to push this around with something that's not magnetic because it's tedious otherwise. Let me find something that's not magnetic, which I can manipulate it with. Oh dear. Can't tell. Can't tell. Maybe I can use that, can't tell. Maybe it's not as magnetic. There we go. Good. You're still with me. Right, I've got one, the one that's really magnetic is half. Okay. And as I thought, there we go. There's not a lot of diamonds left in there. It's not the diamond that's magnetised, although there are some sort of magnetic forms of carbon. Certainly diamagnetic. You can see where the diamonds were, and there looks like a bit of carbon left in there. I get a much better image on the dyno light, not dyno light, on the Naruga. So we will have a look at this with the Naruga at some point. What scale are we looking at? This is only 64 times, so we can zoom into this a bit more. So this is our one, and this one over here, this is the backside actually of the one that's really magnetic. So I want to know why this one is so magnetic. Okay, we need to flip this over because that's not the diamond side. So how am I going to flip that over? Piece of aluminium. Let's try that. Oh dear. Come on, turn over. Oh no, where's it gone? Oh, there it is. It's the right way up. Excellent. Ah, the beauty of a piece of aluminium. Aluminum for you guys across the pond. There we go. There we go. Lovely. Lovely. That is the one that is bizarrely magnetic, and it looks highly altered compared to the other one. Oh, maybe not. About the same. There we go. Definitely lost a lot of the diamonds. I don't think there's any left in there, to be honest. And we're going to go in and zoom into this a little bit more. I'm going to change the specularity here, so you can see changing the specularity. Okay. Just for reference, actually, I'll show you what a diapad looks like before it's been into a line reactor. Why not? Then you can compare the two. So this is what a diapad looks like before. Yeah. Okay, so there you see the diamonds are actually the yellow things, and they're yellow because of the nitrogen impurity. So that is what it looks like, and in fact I'm going to go in with, so they're the lovely diamonds, and we're going to zoom in to it about 200 times, 220 times. Yeah, I'm going to up the brightness of the light. And so there's our diamonds. Diamonds. Diamonds are forever. Look at that. Diamonds. Diamonds in the nickel there. Diamonds in the rough. Or rough diamonds. Rough. Look at that diamond sticking out there. So that's what it looks like. If I turn the specular up, you can just see the diamonds clearly. Okay, right. Turn that down. Okay, there we go. Not my best shot ever. There we go. That's better. There we go. So diamonds. That's what the diamonds look like normally. Okay. Yeah. These yellow ones particularly good for doing our electron emission. So let's have a look at the ones after they've been in the line reactor. Down here. Same magnification. Where's our yellow diamonds gone? All I see is the holes where they used to live. Where have they gone? Yeah, the diamonds are basically gone loco. No, gone away. Just got the holes there. And, you know, if you go and see the diamond miners, those blogs. So this is the highly magnetic one. Why would that be so magnetic? Change the lighting a bit. Yeah, these are just holes. They're where the diamonds used to be. They've gone. Bye-bye. See ya. Gone. So that is the diapads. And I think probably with that, that's probably a lot for today. That's 1 o'clock. So what do? We started off by saying that 3 little book topics. We talked about the fact that, assuming we get permission, I will try and make a PDF of the Discovery of Electronuclear Collapse by Takaaki Matsumoto. So we're going to try and make a PDF of this for people, and potentially a version that they can get a print of. And that we looked at this 7 crystal balls from 1948 of Tintin, where they have this spinning ball lightning that comes out of the chimney, having a lightning bolt. And what did it say on page 28? It said, Here's the culprit, our friend Raskar Kapak. Frightened your dog, Raskar Kapak. He who unleashes the fire of heaven. He who unleashes the fire of heaven. And when the ball lightning explodes, the prophecy is fulfilled. Raskar Kapak has gone, and I am struck down by his curse. I feel it. Me too, and it smells very strong. Sulfur, isn't it? Yes. And the translation of the text was, there will come a day when Raskar Kapak will bring down upon himself the cleansing fire. In one moment of flame, he will return to his true element. On that day, will punishment descend upon the desecrators. And then we talked about the Hudson book and the fact that I will be creating a Kickstarter next week for the Vega Valley samples, which you can see one of the images over on the wall over there. And we'll make a book of those before they are not available as images, so that will be a limited edition run of that. And then we went on and we had a look at the Lion reactor here, and we disassembled it without destroying it in the process until we wanted to destroy it, which we eventually achieved quite thoroughly. And if we look at the remainder of what we have here, we've got I change the focus to auto. This is our debris field here, and we have our core here, which we identified the metal goes to roughly the end point at which the main area was melted out. This was a hypothesis I had from previous Lions, and I think that's borne out now. And that we have these sort of diffused areas on here, and over here we have our little diapads on there, and those diapads are the same as these diapads, except these diapads have their diamonds in, and these ones have lost the diamonds, as we observed on the microscope over there. If I actually turn it off or move it out of the way, these two diapads that are on there like that, they have their diamonds gone. And unfortunately, interestingly, we found that was a little bit magnetic. So I think that's your lot today. So thank you very much for your time. It's a bit different. There's a lot of samples from Hank that I want to look at in a different way. I will put this spectrometer now on top of the core here and see if we see any spectrum out of there of any interest over the next few days. I'll just drop it on there now to see if we see any increase in signal. Not immediately. And we'll capture some data from that, and I'll share that, and I will get some good microscopy using the Narugo lens hopefully tomorrow, and I will add that to the vlog for this as a separate video, YouTube video. And I will also composite some of the images that I grabbed here over here on the left, and you can see several ones of these, and I will combine them into high depth of field images so you can see what these look like. And it'd be interesting to see what your opinion are on what you think it all is. Is it just bubbling for some reason? Is the gas forming? I can tell you I smelt some gas when I cracked open these bubbles. What that gas would be, I couldn't hazard to guess, but certainly it was a little bit pungent. It's something that clearly I could notice. So it would have been great to have a residual gas mass analyzer and cracked it so that the gas went into that, but I couldn't do that. So okay, so I'm just going to quickly look to see if you've got any questions, and if you haven't, then I'm going to go. So So Bob Kenter, yes indeed, those Tintin books, i.e. their author Herge was a real mystery man. Like, where did he get access to all the cultures and countries intel from back in the 1930s he had? Yeah, that's a good point, Bob. Very good point. WAV and remote view, okay. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any questions, please ask them on remoteview.icu. That's probably the best place to do it. Do you have any means of direct contact and email address? Okay, so if you subscribe to Remote View, you can then send an email to me and I can capture it that way, or you can go to the archive site of the MFMP, and that is at quantumheat.org, and there's a contact form on there, and if you fill that in and send me a message, I'll get that as well. Okay, so I'm going to call it a night. I'm quite tired, so thank you very much. I've got lots I want to get through. I will probably publish a blog also about my experiences last week. It's on Remote View. It's not really relevant to the MFMP, but I think you'll find it interesting, my experiences over the last week. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and thank you for your time. I really, really appreciate it. It's very different. It's just what it is. You don't know what you will find when you do these first looks at things. It could be anything, but I think we've seen some interesting things and some things we've seen before. And I'm very happy to see that finding, which I suspected was where the metal ended, is where the major action occurred. And so the hot part of the reactor, which did all this action, was where the fuel of the reactor was. So thank you very much for your time. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.